Well, the first story that we are looking at is the massive protests that have taken place in Jharkhand, and today it has in fact escalated as well. The student protest in Jharkhand has escalated. Now, after the sixth round of talks between the state government and the students failed, the students took out a march towards the assembly. They were joined by Devendranath Mato, who, despite his frail health, was at the center of this march. Now, the police in Ranchi were prepared for the march. They had set up barricades on routes towards the assembly. Those barricades were breached and the students were subjected to water cannons, lathi charge as well as tear gas. Meanwhile, BJP leaders including former Chief Minister Babulal Marandi held sit-in at Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren's residence and they were also detained. Now the BJP has gone on the offensive. It has criticized the Congress of being silent on the Jharkhand protests. BJP hit out on the Congress asking why there are double standards when it comes to protests in Delhi and Jharkhand. The students, meanwhile, want all the 13 recruitment exams cancelled and not just 3. They have insisted that they will not step back from their key demand, that is, a CBI investigation into the alleged irregularities. The government has not agreed to both the demands, resulting in the deadlock, and what comes to it is the talks being, in fact, hit as well. So right now, as we in fact see the situation in Jharkhand, let us in fact take a look at the kind of march that has in fact taken place. The students in fact breaking through the barricades. They are in fact also tear gas as they reach the premises of the Jharkhand assembly. These were the visuals that we saw in today's protests, barricades being removed and the march continuing. Now they want to make that point for sure, that their voice has to be heard. Meanwhile, we are now in fact joined by Mahesh Chandra Dwivedi, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Dr. Mahendra Singh, a senior journalist, and Sakshi Sahai, a Gen Z protester. Let me first come to the investigation part of it. Mahesh Chandra Dwivedi, you know, already there's a CID probe going into this, but the demand has been for a CBI inquiry. Why is it? Is it because no trust in the state police at all?
State government controls the state police. Therefore, suspicion is always there in the public mind, but I won't say that it is always based on facts. But suspicion is there that, say, CBI would be better or more impartial than CID. Actually, the instant case, there may be forces working from behind to not accept the proposals of the government. So that's also possible. Therefore, they are not accepting anything. Otherwise, JPSC's ex-chairman has been arrested, as I hear, and the others also have been arrested by CID. And it is working. If one goes by the reports, it is working fairly well in the direction of the investigation, the state CID. And students have no direct point to say that it is not working fairly. They have not named anybody, any particular person. It is just maybe their fear or maybe an instigation from behind which makes them not to accept the reports.
All right. Now let us in fact get in Mahendra Singh, a senior journalist who joins us. Dr. Mahendra Singh, you've seen the protest today in Jharkhand. Now, interestingly enough, over here, the big question that I would be asking all our panelists is that, has this protest gone beyond the politics that we see at the sidelines? It is no longer about, whether the Congress is trying to, in fact, take over the students' protest and speak about whether they can bring a change. And, of course, we saw Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation for that. When it comes to Jharkhand, the Congress is technically in the ruling side and you have the JMM. What kind of action they can take? They are saying that this is the kind of action that we take. Where the accountability, they've fixed it on the top layer of the JPSC. But this is much beyond that. This is about the students coming out, whether they are in Jharkhand or in Delhi or any other part of this country, They're coming out over a systematic rot that has been taking place in government's ability to, in fact, have fair recruitment. Is the rot the most important part we need to focus on rather than on the politics?
Yes, definitely. Because the failure of the government across the country to conduct regular examinations for government jobs, and that too in a transparent and fair manner. Actually, this failure has generated anxiety among the youth, be it Jharkhand or Delhi or any state, because thousands, uh, uh, you can say lakhs of the youth, they aspire for these government jobs. They spend years to prepare for these examinations, for these government jobs. And when examinations are delayed, number one. Number two, when there are signals or there are messaging that these exams are not fair, it may have been rigged. So that has created a uncertainty among the youth, and it has become now a source of major frustration. That and that too, the psychological angle is that if government could or could have been successfully conducting these examinations every year, then a candidate who fails can accept that the outcome as a competitive setback for him, and he or she should have tried again. But the failure of the government to conduct, number one, regular examination, that after every year, annual examination for these government jobs, for very few government jobs, and lakhs of the youth are chasing for those government jobs. So this is the problem. And I believe that a sustained perception that the state has become unfair to young citizens is going to be very challenging for Indian political system, because this is a new kind of identity politics which is emerging in India, which is not based on caste or class or anything else. But this is a politics where a major portion, which we used to vouch that they are actually, the India is having a demographic dividend, they they are feeling disconnected with the government assurances or with the current examination pattern. So they feel that, there is number one, lack of transparency. Number two, there is lack of accountability. Number three, there are no, even if the issue is highlighted, there is no visible time-bound investigation by a reputed agency. So the demand of Jharkhand youths are that for a CBI inquiry, because they don't have trust in their
See,
state agencies.
any system to work, Mahendra Singh, the issue, as you rightly pointed out, is trust. And trust is breaking in every institution, whether it comes to the central level as well as the state level, as you see today. The institutions are, in fact, lacking that trust. And that is why, this is probably that anger over breaking of trust that we, in fact, see. Let me, in fact, get Sakshi Sahai, who is a Gen Z protester. Sakshi Sahai, you see, we have the same protests that we see that were there in Delhi, in Jharkhand. Let me ask this question. The protests that we see in Jharkhand or in Delhi, the question is about, are we now overtly dependent on the government to actually create jobs, because the private sector is not creating as much as our journalist friend was in fact saying, Mahendra Singh was saying, the youth dividend that is there, it's not creating as much as for those aspirational youths who are out there, who have their degrees in their hand, and they're still fighting it out to get something secure. Is this the situation that, as a Gen Z, you in fact face?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think I would agree completely there, because I think it's a very personal choice in terms of what you want to take up as your career aspirations, be it private sector or be it government sector. Sure, there is some, there is some Yeah, sorry. There's some, assurance to when it comes to government jobs. But then when we are looking at government jobs, what are we seeing? We are seeing like year after year, there are papers that are getting leaked. There are irregularities in exams. So, it's not just about being in the private sector or having a preference one over the other, just in terms of the security that the government jobs come in with. But I think if you're looking at the bigger picture, then we're looking at the government and I mean, in the current terms, we're talking about the irregularities that we have been facing with the government examinations. But the shortfall of one is not, the why there might be a choice for another.
No, the question that I also wanted to ask was that what is the challenge that you face as a Gen Z person who gets into a job market? Because you see, even now, there's this pressure of being in a government job, and of course, there are a lot of rural youth who would want that because that is also a status symbol when you have a government job. So, when it comes to that aspect of it, probably there are people who have that choice in the private sector. But do you think jobs are drying up when it comes to the Gen Z generation when they're coming into the system or when they're coming into their career starting process?
Absolutely. I think, that the jobs are drying up. We feel that. So, when we look at the government sector, then we talk about unemployment and somebody entering the workforce as Gen Z. We want to see, opportunities. So when we look at the government and the government jobs that come in with the so I think when we're looking at entering the workforce as Gen Zs, we are looking at not only our aspirations, we are also looking at security in terms of the jobs that we want to sort of go ahead with. So I feel that when it comes to government jobs or when it comes to private sector jobs, the private sector comes with its own set of unfairness, as I would say. But the government jobs, we would look at them as something which is secure, so as to what was passed down through our parents who have, in fact, my father himself, he's been a government servant. So he would always press for us getting into government jobs because that was more secure. But now I think with the irregularities that we're seeing in the system, not since in these past couple of days, but the past couple of years, it has taken a toll on the way we see employment at large within the government sector, so to speak, about the government sector exams specifically, the government-led exams. So I hope that sort of answers my question, your question.
All right. We are also joined in by Advocate Anubha Srivastava, who's an educationist as well. The question that we are asking Anubha over here was that, we've seen the protests in Jharkhand. This is escalated today. And what is the factor that worries the Gen Z generation a lot? And in fact, we have our own Gen Z representative, Sahai, who's in fact speaking of Sakshi Sahai, who was also telling about her concerns regarding how things are. But then Mr. Mishra, our journalist, had brought out a very important aspect. He said that trust in the institutions are fading, and probably what you're seeing, the symptomatic break of trust, is why you see these protests coming in, saying that we don't trust the system anymore to fix itself. We need more on the ground. Do you think that trust in the system has broken in the current generation and they don't believe anyone coming in? Because right here you see the kind of politics is also that's being played, because in Jantar Mantar you have the opposition training the guns on the BJP saying, what are you doing? And in Jharkhand, you have the BJP who's in the opposition training its gun on the JMM and the Congress saying, what are you doing about it? So that is the politics part of it. But I don't think so. The Gen Z protest is anything about the politics and rhetoric. It's gone much beyond that. It is about why are systems failing and why are parties unable to deliver. Is that the thing that they are looking at?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm really shocked that the way the protest has been dealt, be it Delhi or even the Jharkhand, this should not happen. See, students are today on road. Students are studying. They don't have time. But if paper leaks are happening, be it JEE paper, NEET exam, or any other exam which has happened now in Jharkhand. The paper leak is not a new thing in our country. That's why students are coming on road. They are protesting because authorities are not listening to the students. It's not that the students are not sending any kind of representation to the authorities. They're doing that also, but that is also not being heard. So why the government is delaying? I can understand. When the NEET protest happened, we demanded. It's not this year. In 2024, 25, before 24 also we demanded that there should be restructuring in NTA, which has now happened. Similarly, that it should happen pan-India. It's not the case of only NEET exam, which is being conducted by NTA. There are several other exams at state level, university level, several other exams are happening. And the students are using unfair means to crack these exams. So that definitely we need strict guidelines in place. Now the central government has come up with some strict guidelines, some strict laws are being placed. The bill is being tabled now, and we are quite happy, but the implementation part is what we have to see. Whether the government is able to implement, be it central government today, it's BJP, tomorrow it can be any other government at center. So students are not concerned. They are concerned with the administration, with the authority, with the government who is in power. Today it is BJP, tomorrow it can be any other party in center. Today Congress is in Jharkhand, tomorrow any other party will be there. So basic concern of parents and students also is that they want justice, they want reform in education sector. We have been demanding since many years. But now the thing is that it has gone out of control, and that's why students are on road, and government should listen to the students. Be it Delhi or be it in Maharashtra or in Jharkhand or any other state.
In fact, that is in fact an interesting point that you have raised. Let me in fact also bring in Mahesh Chandra Dwivedi, who has, we started off with him asking that what is this trust factor between the state police and the CBI as such. So just to add the technical part of that investigation that's possible, because the advocate Anubha has also raised a certain issue while she was answering. Mahesh Chandra Dwivedi, the question over here is, if you have a CBI, okay, you have given a CBI inquiry or you get the permission for the CBI inquiry, does it mean that they have more powers than the state government as such to investigate in a manner that they don't need to be answerable to anyone? Is that what distinguishes this key demand that's been put forward by the protesters, saying that there should be CBI inquiry into the conduct of recruitment exams in Jharkhand? Is that a defining part of it?
No, there's no difference in the power of the investigator, whether it is CID, local police, or CBI. The power and the rules are the same for everybody. The only difference is that CID and the state police, they are under the state government. And if some officer is not behaving according to the wishes of the chief minister or the government, the state government may transfer him or punish him or warn him. Therefore, one does not believe that. I mean, it's a general perception that CID will be reliable, right? CID investigation will be reliable and fair, but it does not necessarily mean that CBI will be absolutely fair. CBI is a central government, and it also they also get directions, of course, overall from the central government. They don't get directions from the state government. Now, in the instant case, the crime has been committed by the state level persons and by state level organizations like JPC. Now, therefore, it is thought by the students that probably the CBI will be fair, fairly fair.
Right.
If students are demanding CBI inquiry, why government is not listening? What is their problem?
Exactly.
Why they have no trust on CBI. We cannot say that we don't trust CBI. CBI is a body which conducts. It's not only state of Jharkhand, even in other exams or other protests also, many times we have also demanded CBI inquiry for other exams also, pan-India level exam or state level exam. Why government is not supporting CBI inquiry in this case? That is totally wrong and unacceptable. Government should support students' demand. Students are demanding there should be a CBI inquiry. Go ahead with it.
Right.
What is
right.
stopping
In
you?
fact, Advocate Narma, when you say that, the big question that rises over here is that if a CBI inquiry is initiated, could this in fact end up in certain offices which the government will find it very difficult to explain, and probably the ruling parties also will find it very difficult to explain. So is that the reason why they don't want a CBI inquiry? Is the speculation that would in fact come
There
up?
should be a fair inquiry, be it by CBI or any other authority. There should be a fair inquiry. Students should get justice. Whatever they are demanding, their demands are very genuine. I have also seen their tweets and other messages, and also I have read the news also on several social media and other channels. So whatever their demands are, the demands are very genuine. It's not a separate protest altogether which is happening in Jharkhand. They are students after all. Today they are protesting in Jharkhand. Tomorrow they will protest in Delhi for some other exam. So you cannot differentiate a Jharkhand student with other students from other states. Student are
Just
student, they are
coming
student
in
of India.
here, agreeing to what Dr. Anpa said, I just want to add on that we as students or we as protesters, we are not, asking for favors. We are asking for fairness. When we see that we are asking for fairness, and that is a very basic ask from our side.
And because when
Right.
you're asking this, when you're asking this, Sakisai, let me bring it again that this is again much beyond political parties, isn't it? Like
Yes,
this
absolutely.
is nothing to do with any of the political parties or their
Nothing
side
to do.
rhetoric. Nothing. It's about what you deserve according to the system that you want to get is what you're fighting for. All right.
Right.
That part
Exactly.
exactly.
So we're a democracy, right? It's for the people, of the people, by the people. But then where are these tenets when we are asking about our basic rights? We
Okay.
are not, being. Yeah. Sorry. Please go on.
No, please continue with your thoughts. In fact, I will go later to Mahendra Singh just after you finish that. Yeah.
So, I think I would want to go beyond and sort of address the larger question here that, we are collectively questioning that when merit itself is questioned, then democracy is questioned, and that therein goes our trust. We want a system where we want trust, right? So that is our basic demand, and that is what we're asking. And I don't think, we have been asking for a lot, and this is something which is not coming new, but this has been coming in through ages. But I think we are the generation who decided to take the action on this, and rightly so. As you have seen, we have, what we did in Delhi, and now what is happening in Jharkhand. So I don't think, maybe you can choose to disagree with me if you want, but I don't think we're asking for anything which is wrong. We're only asking for our rights here.
Well, in fact, there's nothing to disagree on that. What the Gen Z is asking is for their right to be respected in this democracy under the Constitution. So I think there is nothing wrong with that. Mahendra Singh, to you, I would probably give the last words right now. From your analysis, do you think that all the political parties that we have of all hue and colors, and those who supported, didn't support, those who had opinion, had no opinion about it, all of them were quite unprepared for what they are facing now? Are they completely unprepared for the outburst that's coming in from the Gen Z, whether it's in Jharkhand or Delhi, and probably anywhere it could be in the future?
Definitely. And we should be thankful to this generation that they have raised their voice, because most of the political parties, they took these failure to conduct a fair examination as a mere administrative failures. But it is not a mere administrative failure or policy failure. It is a failure to deny a youth a social mobility, which he or she is aspiring for. It is a failure to deny a youth which is aspiring to come up in the social ladder. So definitely this is a bigger failure. The perception, the message which has gone to the youth that the system has denied them a fair opportunity, be it any examination. Shakshi understood me that I am only talking about government examination, but be it any examination conducted by a government agency, be it a entrance examination like NEET or any examination for a government job. The failure of the governments to conduct these examinations and give a perception that this is a transparent way, this is a most reliable way, and if there is any uh, fault in it or any apprehensions being raised in this process, that accountability, institutional accountability will be fixed. So it has gone out of the control of any political party. And I think now the entire political system or political dispensation in India must think that why the younger generation is agitated, why they are feeling insecure, why they are feeling they are under a continuous feeling of anxiety, despite the fact that we have a bigger population which we used to celebrate as a demographic dividend. So I think this is what every political party must have to think, must have to chart out a strategy that why there is feeling that state has become unfair to its young population, to youth, to young citizens. So it is the burden which is not only on the government or in the center or in any state, but entire political system is being questioned. And I see that it is a very welcome uh, uh,
Right.
thing in a democratic process that this young generation has voiced their grievances, that the system has denied us this.
Right. Right.
The
And
individual
just to
failures
add on to
is being, yeah.
just to add on to what Dr. Mahendra Singh said, I think I genuinely agree with all the points put forth by you, sir. And and also coming back to the point that we were discussing earlier, when I look at entering the workforce as Gen Z, I want to look at an opportunity or my hopes with fairness. I do not want to enter a workforce which is already plagued with insecurities,
All right.
right? The private sector comes with its own vagaries of the market and the uncertainties of the market. However, I don't want to be appearing or be a part of the system that is it's which is supposed to ensure security, and over there it's making me more insecure as somebody just wanting to enter the workforce.
All right. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for in fact giving us a viewpoint on what these protests are becoming. And of course, these protests are now much beyond politics. It's about the youth trying to in fact assert their right to get fair treatment. And probably that is something that most political parties will have to hear out loud, whether they are in any part of the political spectrum.